Hey, y'all. Welcome to Cornbread and Roses. I'm your friendly neighborhood organizer, Austin, and I'm here tonight with J Money.
Hey, comrades.
And yeah, y'all, we had a little bit of a week in Alabama. We had another week of legislation, and we also had a little May Day event that we'll talk about. Uh, we were so blessed to have His Orange Eminence here in town, and he was met with three protests by my count. Uh, and yeah, we'll talk about that and a few other things. But first, let's get to a couple memes. Well, I say a couple, and we might do some more memes. I got so many memes. That's the easy part, y'all. The memes are the easy part. Uh, but yeah, start here. Got a couple. Well, a couple. We got a half dozen people here getting impaled, and I voted for him because I liked his impalement policy. But I never thought this would happen. Yes, the stakes in the ground ate my face in this case. Uh, got you know, and now a word from Donald Trump. I think this one speaks for itself. And let's see here. I was told I need to explain some of these memes, but I don't know. I think some of them are pretty self-explanatory. Mailing glitter bombs to your enemies, thus polluting the planet with non-biodegradable litter. Making compostable hexing confetti by punching holes in poison ivy leaves and then mailing it to your enemies. Ah,
There you go.
that's and that's that's green, y'all. The new green economy.
Poison
Mm,
ivy leaves.
yeah.
You set that up as a service. I bet people would pay for it. Mail somebody some poison ivy leaves.
uh, if only we could AIification, A1ification it, then it'd be perfect.
Add a little steak sauce to it.
Oh yeah. From the Onion, the new Alabama law requires women to leave semen on lower back for 9 months.
There you go.
It's signed by
Wow.
the governor herself. Yeah. Wow, indeed. I don't know how to explain these, folks. Uh, couple more. Uh, this one from blues.lawyer. I've got no problem with a registry of autistic people. There's absolutely nothing sinister or foreboding about it. It's like how in X-Men, the senator dude was going to make a mutant registry for, quote, reasons. And Magneto was like, that's cool, bro, and not at all fascistic. I have no qualms about this, and it doesn't remind me of anything. Yeah.
Hashtag Magneto was right.
And one more real quick one. Me explaining America is an oligarchy and we're all going to die unless the working class revolts. My friends and family in America's team blanket over there.
Yep.
Yeah, that is real. That is me all the time with my friends and family.
No, exactly. Like, hey, we're going to have to step it up a little bit.
That's right. As things escalate, so do tactics. Uh, the strategy is always the same: unite the working class, with various sub strategies found therein. Let's find this guy real quick. Where did he go? Where did you go? There you are. We had a UFC fighter who got knocked the fuck out, but who praised Hitler, explains why he thinks the Earth is flat. So this is our conspiracy work for this week. UFC featherweight fighter Bryce Mitchell, and you can look up his I think he was tapped out. I saw the video and I can't even remember. Sparked widespread backlash last month after praising Adolf Hitler on his podcast and making inflammatory anti-Semitic and anti-LGBTQ plus remarks. The 30-year-old MMA fighter, who has a history of promoting conspiracy theories, recently doubled down with a new theory about the Earth's rotation, dismissing mainstream science and claiming that gravity is not real. Fucking amazing. And
wow,
yeah, he is not alone, I don't think, in the mixed martial arts community.
I am really disappointed and sad by how chodified it's become.
Oh man, it rife
over the past 10 years, over the past 10, 15 years.
That part about gravity non-existing, that's like there's so much in here. There's just thick with anti-intellectual flotsam.
Flotsam?
What's
the difference between flotsam and jetsam? Okay, now I have to Google that.
One is like equipment, and one is damn, I used to know this, but yeah, there is a difference.
Okay. Flotsam is goods or from a sunken vessel that are floated to the surface of the sea, or any floating cargo that is cast overboard. Jetsam designates any cargo that is intentionally discarded from a ship or wreckage. Legally, jetsam also floats, though floating is not part of the etymological meaning. Generally, jettisoning connotes the action of throwing goods overboard to lighten the load of the ship in danger of sinking.
Okay. So,
per maritime law, one who discovers these artifacts is not required to return them to their rightful owner, except in the case where the latter makes a proper claim. So you can keep jetsam and flotsam.
Nice. So there's a ploy for us. Get on one of these yachts and just start throwing everything overboard and have our pirate comrades come through and scoop the stuff up. Oh my God. So this Mitchell character, woo, so many things. Opposed seatbelt laws, accused NASA of concealing the true shape of the Earth. He actually attended President Trump's inaugural festivities. Contends that COVID was engineered in a U.S. government lab and deliberately released. That mass shootings are staged to push a gun confiscation agenda. He covers it. He's prolific. And he's a headache for President Dana White of the UFC, who is a very anti-unionist guy. Also, a vocal Trump supporter and a new board member at Meta. Wow. What do you think he's bringing to the table for Meta?
God only knows.
In fairness, he did described Mitchell as an absolute moron after the fighter's Hitler rant.
Well, he would know.
Yeah.
See, yeah, this Mitchell guy sounds like exactly the kind of guy who needs to be taking punches to the head repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe like 5-6 years ago, none of these were in his head. Maybe they all got punched into his head, is how he got here. Yeah.
Keep doing your own research.
Yeah.
Because there's no proof the Earth rotates. That's a lie from the devil.
Yeah. Isn't that lovely? With a piece of paper and a drawing of a helicopter claiming to prove it with basic geometry. I think no one will disagree once I explain it, Mitchell said. Keep doing your own research. Please do not do your own fucking research, most people. We shouldn't even be doing our own research, but yet we're forced to. Yeah,
right.
Here we are. Because there's no proof the Earth rotates. That's a lie from the devil. And questioning how it'd be possible to fly a helicopter at 15,000 feet if the Earth were rotating at 1,000 miles an hour. Argued that as the helicopter ascended, it would follow a larger flight path, suggesting this disproves the idea of Earth's rotation. According to his interpretation of inertia, the helicopter would travel farther than the Earth's surface beneath it due to the Earth's rotation. There he is. There's the whiz kid himself. The glasses, I don't think he really wears glasses. I think he put these on just for this. Oh, Thug Nasty. Huh. Okay, Thug Nasty. Here's for all my haters. I don't think y'all are stupid. I think you're arrogant because y'all think I'm stupid. I still love you. I'm still correct. Keep on with the feedback. I can take it. Thank y'all.
You can't take a left hook though.
Or lesson in grammar. You know, I'm a big E. Cummings fan, and I eschew capitalization for a lot of writing, but I do like effective punctuation, and, you know, woo. Yeah, a little bit more.
So yeah, the Earth doesn't rotate, and gravity isn't real.
So like, yeah. And his interpretation of inertia. Mitchell further asserted that anyone who didn't understand his geometry of spheres and circles wouldn't grasp his argument, dismissing mainstream science that goes back centuries to Copernicus and the concept of the heliocentric model of the universe. 30-year-old has long been outspoken about his belief in various conspiracy theories, that gravity doesn't exist, despite, you know, of all the fucking things that are still technically a theory, you know, there's hell of a lot of proof that gravity's out there, you know. Yeah. But this is my favorite part. The remarks came a month before his comments on his podcast, Arcane Sanity, which I have to assume is a shout out to the Arcane Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, Arkham. Thank you. Where he also defended Adolf Hitler, saying, "I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy to go fishing with. He fought for his country." questioned the historical accuracy of the Holocaust, falsely suggesting it was impossible for 6 million Jews to have been exterminated. So yeah, that's and he got his ass whooped.
There you go.
Yay for him.
Featherweight. So yeah, that happened.
It did indeed happen. Which, yeah, I'm sure we could just look at UFC fighters and draw our weekly conspiracy theories from them alone. I bet you they got a lot of good ones.
That's unfortunate.
That is. But moving on, here we are. What passed in the second to last week? Got about 3-4 days left.
3 days left.
Oh so my God. 3 days left.
They're going to meet for 2 days next week and then possibly one day the week after that. So I think the 13th will be the final day.
Oh, and then we can, the format here will change a little bit, but it'll be back. But what passed in the Alabama legislature this week, April 29th, May 1st, 2025?
So I saw a few things that were worth shouting out. Most of the bills, again, this week, like they've stepped up their attempt to get as many things through, but a lot of them were the same old things we always complain about, where there's no home rule in this state. Like this top bill allows Class 2 municipalities. Mobile is the only Class 2 municipality in the entire state. So whenever you see Class 2 municipalities, it means Mobile. So there's a bill that lets Mobile do something and nobody else. And a lot of the bills were like that. I only saw 3, and then some bills that came through committee that I'm keeping an eye on. So there's HB 297, sponsored by Jennifer Fiddler from R. Silverhill, introduces a fee on international wire transfers conducted by licensed money transmission businesses, with proceeds allocated to counties for specific purposes. This is an anti-immigration bill, obviously. It's penalizing people who were working and sending money back home, doing what you or I or anybody might do, trying to make their lives better for their family back home. The bill passed 83-1, which means it passed with significant Democratic support and goes to the Senate.
Yeah. When the session started, the Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice and, if I remember correctly, some pastor spoke up and out against this bill, and the Democrats on that committee that day, they spoke out against it as well.
That's good. Yeah, I guess the 83 could include people who aren't Democrats. I did try to call my congressman and find out why sometimes bills can pass like with 10-0. And I got the message. I left a message. And so hopefully I'll hear back and have an answer next week. I did remember to do that, though.
Yeah. I'm glad you remembered, because I certainly forgot. And then, here we are. Past couple days for me has been enjoyable, but normally it's also the time I take to get ready for this stuff. And went to try to watch a Wilco concert on Friday, and got there, big little sign in the door, concert was postponed. So that was cool. After driving a couple hours.
Was it in Nashville?
No, it was down in Birmingham, at Avondale Brewing, and I think the weather played a part in it, maybe, but also didn't get the alert till the start time of the show. So, was fun. And then yesterday, I got to see some friends off. They are exiting the state, and got to spend a few hours with them before they leave, and had a great time. And actually think I recruited somebody to DSA up here. They had a friend down from Huntsville, and I think got another member to join. So
Good job.
Bonus ball on that. Got to see my friends and got to meet a new comrade, I think.
Why would anyone leave Alabama?
Why indeed? I don't know. I think, yeah, wherever you go, there you are. You know what I mean?
That I learned that when I moved. I moved to San Francisco for 2 years, and I learned that lesson the hard way and the expensive way as well. Wherever you go, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
I had the same old problems, but also a $4,000 a month rent bill due.
Woo!
Yeah, 4-bedroom apartment, $4,000 a month.
Please tell me you had roommates.
Oh, of course I had roommates. Yeah, I couldn't do that by myself.
Did you have like 8 to 10 roommates? Because that seems like what you need.
Technically, yes. It was me and my former partner, and we Airbnb'd out the 2 other bedrooms.
Nice.
So yeah. we did pretty well with that. We had a couple of long-term people stay with us, but I think one woman stayed with us for a few months. But there was a lot of turnover.
Ooh. I mean,
yeah, it was rough.
$4,000 a month, so that's like $48,000 a year in rent. There's just so that's not even in Alabama. No one except and probably most of the country, but no one but the top 10% of folks could afford something like that. And even those top 10%, I think some of them would be struggling.
Yeah. Well, the Airbnb, it knocked it down quite a bit, actually, because there was high demand for our rooms. But it was hard to part with every month, I'll tell you that. My first apartment there was a 1-bedroom apartment that I shared with 2 other people for $2,500 a month. And that was 10 years ago.
Have you looked up the cost of that place since then?
I haven't. I'm scared. I'd be scared too.
Oh, had to have at least doubled, right?
Probably so.
Oh, man. So yeah, anti-immigration on wire transfers for folks just trying to take care of their families. What else are we looking at, Jay?
So I looked at this one bill, SB186, sponsored by Clyde Chambliss from Prattville, mandates that all smartphones and tablets activated in the state on or after June 1st must include a pre-enabled internet filter to block access to obscene material for minors. The bill passed 103-0. The Senate later concurred in House changes, sending the bill to Governor Kay Ivey. So it's an anti-porn bill. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, you can get around it for one.
Right.
For two, how are they having this executed? Because it sounds like the retailers are going to be the ones that have to do this.
Yes. And there's already been a lot of pushback from the tech community because it does place the onus on them to do it.
Yeah, and also another question I was thinking is what are any other states doing this already?
Yes,
So
I don't remember exactly. I don't remember the exact states, but I do remember that other states are doing it. Yes, because I was reading an article about how tech companies are like pushing back on it.
So I mean, considering how logistics works for smartphones, this is going to have to be done in China, which they do have some expertise with firewalling materials. So, but yeah, they're not going to ship it, unpackage them in the U.S. and then install the OS. So they're going to have to be doing this in China, I assume. And then you have, yeah, well, at least the parents don't have to pay for it, because I tell you what, I'm somehow ended up with kids with cell phone plans, and I want to punch myself in the face every month about it.
Yep. So yeah, the this is on top of like other anti-pornography laws. Like I think in October of this year, a law passed last year kicks in that requires sites that show pornography to collect like the driver's license of people before it can show them anything.
Yeah.
So Pornhub and others have blocked service to Alabama as a result, which, I mean, if you have a VPN, it's easily bypassable.
Yeah.
Not that I consume pornography.
And also, like, cool, now you're storing PII, personally identifiable information, with a Canadian. Typically, if I remember correctly, it's a Canadian company that basically has a monopoly on these sites.
I think Pornhub is a Canadian company. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I remember reading that right. Well, I'm scared to Google it. Don't want to mess with them. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have the whatever purity police on your ass.
Yeah. So, I have mixed feelings about this kind of thing. Like, the porn industry seems pretty scummy, but then a lot of industries are pretty scummy. It's not going to affect me personally since I'm ace and don't understand you people's obsession with having sex with each other. Will never make sense to me.
Well, a lot of things don't make sense, bro.
Yep.
Don't worry about finding the logic in it. Just accept it. It's like like gambling.
Right. It's like gambling.
It's in that region of the brain.
Right. Exactly. Like it's wild because I have the same mixed feelings about gambling because the industry seems scummy and it's like basically taxing poor people. But on the other hand, I love to gamble and I go gambling. I'm an avid gambler. Like whatever it is that makes people gamble, I have it.
Well, we need to plan. We need to plan a trip then, because I wouldn't mind sitting down at a poker table, especially now that summer's here and I won't be having to wake up at 6 a.m. Every morning to make sure the kiddies are off.
I'll go. So my gambling plan is always go to the blackjack table and make a few $100, and then go to the craps table and lose it all.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like see, craps is supposed to be giving you a better odds. I'm surprised you're losing it at the craps table.
Well, that's been the story of my past few trips to the casino. Is I'd be up a few $100 playing blackjack and then get down because I like to play craps. I love craps. Craps is so much fun, but I guess I'm just not good at it.
Well, maybe I just chain you to the to the blackjack table and keep you there.
I gotta throw the dice though.
Well, me and you we can play some Dungeons and Dragons. How about that?
There you go. I haven't played D&D in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been all the time.
LFG. I'm looking for group, as they say. That is, hey, maybe that's what we need to do is start a second show, and we have a little tabletop game where the player characters they hunt billionaires. That is something I've been toying with in my head for a couple of years.
Yeah, like leftist role playing. We're
Yeah.
trying to work a workers' revolution in Pharaoh.
Exactly. Well, or make it a modern setting, with Leaf Lazos and Pelin Cusk.
There you go.
And some characters like that. Have the folks hunting them.
I'm almost always the cleric. I like playing the cleric. So I don't know about in modern. It would be weird being what would I be, an Episcopalian priest?
Okay. All right. Let's see what definitely could be a priest. What EMT?
There you go. I like it.
Well, we got to have the religious thing in there, but EMT would work as well. Like yeah, something. But yeah, we can workshop it. We can figure it out.
We'll workshop it. So yeah, courts have generally held that pornography is free speech, but there's no telling how courts will rule these days. So who knows? Who knows how that'll go? I expect KW to sign this.
We'll say that like most everything in this world, it feels like porn is something that people get addicted to, and I think kids can wait on the porn for sure. And yeah, but it's something that people get addicted to, and hell, but there is, this is clearly focused on children, which is good in my opinion, because their brains are not formed yet. Seeing that anywhere between the ages of 25 and 40 is when people's brains finally settle down into maturity, which is wild, right?
Yep.
Especially when the kids are yearning for the minds at 8 and 12. So
yearning for the minds.
Yeah. So what else are we looking at?
So the one good bill, and it's only moderately good, SB 123, sponsored by Senator Arthur Orr from Decatur, who is my state senator, enhances transparency in civil asset forfeiture reporting by requiring the Alabama Justice Information Commission to publish annual reports. So if you don't know it, so this passed the House and the Senate as well, so it's going to KIV. If you don't know, Alabama is a pretty bad state for civil asset forfeiture, which is basically where the cops take your stuff and take your money. So if you're traveling with cash, you're traveling with anything they can possibly link to drugs, they're taking it. And there have been articles in nail.com and other places detailing people who've been the targets of the civil asset forfeiture. So it's not blocking that, but it is requiring them to publish annual reports about how much they take, which is an important first step, possibly.
Yeah. This past week, 2 weeks ago, I can't keep up, but there's that family, I think in Oklahoma, moved from Maryland, and They were raided by ICE, I believe. A couple of their kids were put outside in their underwear, uh, you know, and which is just absolutely horrendous behavior. And but all their shit got taken as well.
I heard about that. Yeah, ICE is Alabama, or ICE is America's racist goon squad.
They've really stepped it up. They really have stepped it up. Like,
So that was the bills that passed that I saw that I had any kind of thought. Oh well, this is interesting. There are a couple of things coming through committee, which may not make it, inshallah. So let's see. The police immunity bill that we talked about,
right.
it was approved in committee and it's moved to the Senate floor, but they don't have much time to pass it. So this is a bill that's controversial. The Democrats are fighting it tooth and nail. We've talked about it in the past. It basically makes it impossible to hold police accountable for any misconduct they do while on the job, and especially living close to Decatur, which has had two deaths by police in unjust circumstances in 2 years. Really don't want to see this pass.
It's honestly like the last place that accountability can be found for people in the Justice Department. So trying to remove the last little remnants of accountability, which, is abhorrent.
So it's HB 202, and it's worth calling your state senator about.
Gum up the works, y'all. Gum up the works. Like, make sure you are still doing these calisthenics, let's call them. Got various types of calisthenics out there, and making your voice heard. Making your voice heard is fundamental, because it does work.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I was really down on contacting your local CHUD legislator because I was like, well, these people aren't going to listen to me. But ALTRAC, the Alabama Coalition for Trans, no, it's the Alabama Trans Rights Action Coalition.
Yes.
Really showed me the error of that, because they have had a lot of success killing bills by getting people to call. And so it is worthwhile to call them and say, hey, you probably can't change their mind, but you can change their priorities.
Yes.
And if they get enough pushback about a particular bill, they'll think, okay, well, maybe this isn't worth pursuing.
Yeah, and there's still a couple more. There's the other ones. Are they still at committee? The ban on drag. I think they were trying to, like, K through 12 ban on drag, something like that.
So I don't know the status of that particular bill, and I haven't seen any news about it recently. But there is the Don't Say Gay bill by Mac Butler, House Bill 244. So it is going to the Senate. That's its last stop before it goes to Kay Ivy's desk. But there's an article from AL.com saying it may not pass this session. They really don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, and Altrek is asking folks out there to sit there and call and make a fuss about this, because it's another fascist bill. Ain't no other way to put it. But yeah, one thing about that ban on drag was, when I was in high school, I actually we had a little Anna Green Gables play. It was the only play I've ever been in. And I played Aunt Polly. So I wouldn't have been able to have my stage debut if this bill was enacted.
Think of what the world would have lost.
I know. Oh, hey, yo, I got laughs. I crept out there with my old lady voice and everything, and cracked the show up. So
There you go.
didn't do well remembering my lines though. So
That is the hard part.
that is. Shout out to stage actors and remembering like 80,000 lines in some cases, especially those one person shows that are like 2 or 3 hours. Whew.
So yeah, the drag ban bill it's gone through some modifications. They have taken schools out of the mix and left just libraries, and the bill has gone to the Senate for consideration.
So that's interesting that they took the schools out. So, but work isn't done, and with everything, I have to assume we're going to be seeing these bills pop back up again in the future. But for now, they look like they're close to dying this legislative session.
Yeah, and it really, calling your local congressman and adding your voice to it would really help them to kick the can down the road.
Yeah,
You could say it's not worth it. We'll pick it up next session, and Altrac has successfully organized killing bills like this for 2 or 3 sessions now, for however long they've been in existence. So
yeah, because that's another thing. They get this one passed, and there's going to be something else after it. I mean, next session it might be banning pride events, and who knows where they could go. Let your imagination run wild with whatever you think fascists will do, because
there certainly are feeling the oats.
That's what they want to do. Whatever you think the end game is, that's what it is. Seriously. You just look back through history. They've done it before. We, as a world, have the knowledge of what happened in Italy and Germany and Japan during World War II. Those folks didn't have that. And we do. So we know where they're going with all this. We just have to stay consistent, diligent, gritty, and fight for the long term, because they've been fighting to get these things done for 40 plus years, 50 plus years. And we have to have that same grit and determination.
It's hard morale wise because our task is largely purely negative. We have to block everything they're doing without being able to go on the offensive, and that's a difficult position to be in. But it's essential to recognize that we have a duty to struggle even when things seem bad.
Yeah. I mean, and at one point slavery existed, not to say that there isn't still slavery in the world, because there is, but it was part of fundamental part of economic systems and whatever. And there were people fighting against it back then, and people couldn't imagine a world without slavery, but yet some did, and many fought and died to make the world a better place. And we must do the same, because it is our duty to win.
So yeah, one of the bill I'm going to call out it's probably not going to go anywhere, but just the fact that the fact they're even trying it is grotesque. But there's Alabama or House Bill 618, which would allow Alabama to send people incarcerated in the state to foreign prisons. So this bill, and I'm reading, this bill would authorize the commissioner of the Department of Corrections to enter into contracts with foreign nations to confine Alabama inmates in a penal institution or correctional facility. So it's, would deport Alabama prisoners to El Salvador bill. The bill sponsors Chris Sales, who said, quote unquote, Alabama prisons are too soft, which is...
Yeah, the Alabama prisons that are so soft that there's been federal lawsuits against them and the fact that like more prisoners die here per capita than any other prison system. Real soft.
Right. This is it's one of the most dangerous prison systems in the nation. It's one of the most crowded prison systems in the nation. Conditions are very bad.
Yeah. And also, hey, if we sit there and we're shipping out our prisoners, who's going to fill up like the two new prisons, man? They aren't thinking too smart on this. We got to fill up the new ones before we get to exporting prisoners. But that's something I learned a little bit ago that there's about 2.3 million people imprisoned, and of those people, and that's about 25% of the global population of prisoners, which is incredible considering I think the United States is 3% of the world's population. And of those 2.3 million, 70% of them are merely awaiting trial. Yeah.
China locks up fewer people per capita than we do.
Yeah.
It's
authoritative China. Less than Russia, less than everybody.
Right.
So America number one.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I had for the state legislature. In other news, Tommy Tuberville is closer to announcing his bid for the governor's seat. Will Ainsworth is strongly considering not running against Tuberville for the governor's seat, even though Will Ainsworth has wanted to be governor his whole life. There are rumors that he's considering running for Senate instead, since the Senate seat will be vacated. But the scuttlebutt is that he doesn't want to uproot his family and have them move to DC. So Will Ainsworth may not be on the ballot at all next time, which will just break my heart.
No.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
It is like, I don't understand the whole not moving to DC thing. I mean, I guess like they take plenty of vacations. Like it seems like every
Yep, that's just the rumor. He reportedly isn't interested in uprooting his family. And that comes from 256today.com. We're hearing it's possible we won't be seeing the name Ainsworth anywhere on the 2026 ballot. So there is that. DC is a strange town. I've visited there a few times. It's an unusual place. Oh, I think Austin is frozen, which means and he's gone, which means it's up to me to carry the show. Oh well, what have I got in the? Oh, so today is May the 4th. So it is the birthday of DSA. We were founded 43 years ago today in a merger of the Democratic Socialists Organizing Committee and the New America Movement. So happy birthday to the DSA. And on this day in 1886, there was the Haymarket Affair, where there was a speech by several prominent labor people in the Haymarket Square in Chicago. And someone threw a bomb into police lines who were there to break up the rally. And police opened fire and shot and killed several dozen people and injured several others. And then the 8 Haymarket martyrs were arrested for conspiracy to commit murder because of the bomb. They were given a show trial, basically. They were later all pardoned by the governor of Illinois, some of them posthumously. 4 of them were executed, and 1 of them committed suicide. 2 of them were sent to prison until they were pardoned. And no, 3 of them were sent to prison until they were pardoned. So, yeah, pour one out for the Haymarket martyrs. Austin was the one who had the material prepared for the protests, but as he mentioned, His Orange Eminence was in the state visiting, giving a speech, giving a long rambling speech about how great he was, how rigged the election in 2020 was, and making jokes about transgender people, among other reprehensible things. But there were protests. There were more than 1,000 people who turned up to a protest that featured speakers like Beto O'Rourke. Yeah, hey.
Well, my computer just restarted for literally no discernible reason. So I guess somebody's watching.
I hope so. Well, I've been talking this whole time. Carrying the show.
That's you got shoulders built for it, dog. You do.
I got the boxer shoulders. That's the only thing I've gone completely to seed, but I've still got boxer shoulders. But yeah, I mentioned that May the 4th was the birthday of DSA. It's the anniversary of our founding. 43.
May the 4th be with us all.
May the 4th be with us all. It's also the somethingth anniversary of the Haymarket Affair, where the Haymarket. Yeah. So yeah, so the Haymarket rally that inspired that is the reason why May 1st is the International Workers' Day. So that happened on this day. It was a Tuesday in 1886.
Yeah, and what got us 8-hour work days.
8-hour work day. It was a huge blow to because it was a pretext to crack down on the labor movement, and that was unfortunately what happened. But yeah, the Haymarket martyrs were given a sham trial, and then 4 of them were hanged. 1 of them committed suicide with dynamite before he could be executed. So he cheats the hangman. 3 of them wound up in prison until they were pardoned by the governor of Illinois, whose name escapes me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Louis Ling, a Swedish immigrant who, by his own admission, built the bomb that was thrown, and then he committed suicide in prison because somehow he smuggled dynamite. The man just loved bombs, I guess, and blew himself up with a stick of dynamite and spent 5 or 6 hours in agony before he perished. Yeah, Louis Ling.
And an immigrant worker. Shout out to all our immigrant brothers and sisters out there.
Many of the Haymarket martyrs were immigrants. August Spies was an immigrant. What are their names? I'm so sorry I've forgotten them.
I defer to you. But that's something I was thinking about the other day is how we have Americans that are immigrants in other countries. Like, I wonder if we'll be seeing them expelled anytime soon. But yeah, that that speaks to how the problems of the worker are international. The oligarchs are definitely international in scope, and we must be as well.
Oh yeah, you have more in common with a member of the working class who comes from another place than you do with the rich people who are born in the same place as you. You are a lot closer to being them than you are to being Jeff Bezos. Like, you're never going to have a yacht. You're never going to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Statistically, it's extremely unlikely. Everybody thinks they're going to get rich someday. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you have about a 7% chance to rise above the tax classification that you were born into.
It's actually higher in other countries.
Wow.
So
why am I not shocked?
So I had started to set up the talk about his orange eminence coming to Alabama and the protests that accompanied him, featuring Beta O'Rourke, failed repeat candidate.
Yeah, he beats his Democratic primary. Clearly he wins his primaries, and then it like peters off. But to be fair, he is in Texas, so
I know he's running in a hard place to run, but he's also like a basic cookie cutter liberal. So,
but he skateboards and plays punk music.
Well, good for him.
I do like his quote that he opened up with. He said, "So this is Alabama. Fuck, it's beautiful." He is correct.
It is a pretty state.
But yeah,
someone said that there's another. I listen to a lot of right wing talk show hosts because I hate myself. And I'm interested in politics when I hear it talked about, even if it's coming from the right. And there is a guy in Alabama who says on the radio that Alabama is the most beautiful state in the union. And with all due respect to my state, which is beautiful, which is gorgeous and green and lush and
the most biodiverse.
Yeah, very biodiverse, like the Mobile area down there. What is it, the Mobile River Basin? It's been called America's Amazon with the biodiversity. But I've been to California and I've been to Alaska, and let me tell you, there is some breathtaking scenery in both of those states.
I got to ride through Denver on Christmas several years ago, and I was nestled between the mountains at the bottom of a river valley, and it was it was overwhelmingly beautiful. But yeah, Alabama is beautiful, but so is every state, so is every country. Every country has its beauty, and the whole world has that beauty and magic in it wherever you go.
That's true.
But I'm partial to here.
I do like it here. I am an Alabama guy. Like I can't front. As many problems as the state has, and even though my enemies are in power and it seems like they're going to be in power forever, I'm attached to this place.
But yeah, events of May Day. We had the president to grace us with their presence. And we had like 3 protests. One of them was put on by the University of Alabama Democrats, from, as we mentioned, had been.
Yeah, he's frozen again. Well, he's the one who had this material prepared, so I will try to get through it as best I can. So, Alabama Reporter reports that more than 1,000 people showed up to this one protest that featured speakers like Beto O'Rourke, and Doug Jones was there, along with Kyle Sweetser, who is running for the Senate as a Democrat. Now, he has 2 other primary opponents. Dakari, his name escapes me, and Mark Wheeler. I'll look up Dakari's name real quick. It is Dakari Lariat. So, but Kyle Sweetser, he claims to be pro-choice, and he says that he's pro-LGBT, and there's no reason not to take him at his word. But he's also a Trump voter and was a Republican until like 5 minutes ago. And so it's weird that he's running for Senate. And I'm looking very hard at the other 2 candidates as a result, because I don't like promoting somebody to Senate candidate who was a Republican 5 minutes ago, no matter how progressive he may be. Well, I won't say no matter how progressive he may be. But I urge you, if you're considering voting for Kyle Sweetser in the primaries, I really strongly encourage you to look at Dakari Lariat and Mark Wheeler hard before you do. I don't know as much about those other 2 candidates. I'm still doing the research myself, but we have some time to decide. And I think it's a significant black mark that this Sweetser guy is a Trump voter. So I did not prepare material on the protest. And I don't want to just read the article on the air. That seems kind of pointless. You could just read the article yourself. So, UA Democrats really did us proud, though, in organizing this protest. There were lots of people there. The president of the UA chapter of the Young Democratic Socialists of America and one of the organizers told the Alabama Political Reporter she felt it's important for UA students to protest the event because we can't let Trump think what he's doing, such as gutting funding for education, is appreciated here. UA is not a monolith of students who support Trump, and Trump doesn't care about UA students, as is shown by the detainment of Durruti. If you don't know, a mechanical engineering student at the University of Alabama, Alareza Durruti, was detained by ICE late in March and recently denied bail, despite no evidence or indication from the Department of Homeland Security exactly what national security threat he poses. So yeah, the club. So this is Sophia Kemba, who is the president of the UA chapter of the Young Democratic Socialists of America, and also the UA Leftist Collective. That sounds nice. It was one of several campus organizations that supported protesting outside Coleman Coliseum during Trump's speech, including the United Campus Workers Local, working to unionize the University of Alabama. That's cool. The union's endorsement of the protest stated that in an effort to delegitimize unions, the Trump administration has attacked collective bargaining rights, already an uphill battle in the public sector in the South. So Kemba told APR, the Alabama Political Reporter, that she estimated a couple hundred people participated in the protest outside Coleman, and some who attended the speech yelled things at us and recorded us, but luckily no one was violent. So apparently there was a separate protest. So a few hundred people showed up to that, and that was in addition to the better attended Tide Against Trump rally from 5 to 7. That was the one that had more than 1,000 people in attendance. The rally featured speeches by former Texas Congressman, I already said Beto O'Rourke, Doug Jones and Democratic Senator candidate Kyle Sweetser. Now, I wonder why they decided to have multiple protests. It sounds like the one Sophia Kemba was in charge of was being run by real leftists instead of like ordinary Democrats. And so they may have wanted a venue for people who are more radical who are a little bit left of center, which makes sense, especially in the context of this. I wonder if I can share things on my screen. I have a meme. I have a meme for y'all. I have no idea if Austin's coming back. Can I present? Well, I can't figure out how to do that. But basically, so in Belarus, there have been protests against the government there. And protesters in Minsk have adopted a different protesting technique, where instead of having one large gathering, they're now grouping in local boroughs. And this way, there's not enough riot police to go around for all the boroughs. And I'm reminded of a quote from the LAPD police chief some years ago, and I can't remember the man's name, but he said the LAPD can handle one 10,000 person march, but 10 marches with 1,000 people would cripple us across the city. So tactically, it may be better to organize multiple protests at different venues. That way, there aren't enough police to respond to all of them. And I guess there was a protest for people who didn't want to go and hear from what Beta O'Rourke says. Which is good for them. All right, so Trump talked about tariffs. He said tariffs are the most beautiful word. Tariff is the most beautiful word in the world. I guess Republicans have finally found a tax that they do like. They said, what about love? What about your wife? What about your parents? What about religion and God? I said, all right, it's the fifth nicest word I've seen. So it's the fifth most. God, he's such a clown. I can't read Trump's words. Trophy wives. And then he bashes trans people. And then he implies, so I watched Coach Saban win games that were virtually over. Coach, you got lucky. I didn't get lucky. I'm a talented guy. What? God, he's just praising himself and putting down other people. It's about all he can do. So as you can tell, I wasn't prepared to talk about the protest rallies. I think Austin went to them, and he was the one that had the material there. So I may move on to another topic before wrapping things up. Maybe a little bit early since it's just me. So I've mentioned before in Decatur the killing of L.J. Scott by the Decatur police. Well, I'm happy to report that there was a disturbance at the Decatur City work session last week that resulted in 6 arrests on charges of disorderly conduct, trespassing, and resisting arrest. So the repeated outbursts from several attendees during the city's work session, which I think is good. The city needs to hear how upset the community is for having 2 police-involved killings in less than 2 years. So 6 people were arrested. Looks like resisting trespassing at the city council building. How does that work? Tab Bowling, obviously is condemning it. The mayor. they have reportedly narrowed down the selection of Decatur police chief from, they had a slate of like 5 or 6 people, and I think only one has survived that process. And his name is, let's see, if I can find it, down to 2 candidates, and then it was down to 1. So the current person they're considering, the only person they're considering, is Tory Mack, who is currently a captain and commander of the Special Enforcement Division in the Birmingham Police Department. Now that they're down to 1, the council will be calling 6 of the selected on-hold candidates to schedule interviews. Well, that's good to know. So yeah, I think that was about all I had. Like I said, Austin is the guy who was prepared to talk about. Oh, one last bit of good news. Huntsville Starbucks workers file for a union election. So on May the 12th, they will have their election. And if they win, which they are expected to win, they will be the 3rd unionized Starbucks in Alabama, joining a location in Birmingham and one in Scottsboro, of all places. So it is the Starbucks on University Drive in Huntsville. It's at the corner of University and North Memorial Parkway. So it's right between the Full Moon Barbecue and the Zaxby's, in the front of the shopping center that used to be Books A Million and now is something else. So yeah, it would be nice to have one of the organizers on the show. Maybe I'll reach out and see if I can't get Briar Wolf, who is the organizer of this union there, to talk to us and talk about what she did and how you can replicate her success at your workplace. So they'll be organizing with the SEIU, the Service Employees International Union. So yeah, I guess we usually go till 9:30, but I guess I might go ahead and duck off since I'm the only one and I run out of material that I prepared. I will remind you one last time to please call your state and local congressman, because it does matter. We can move the bill. We can move the needle on some of these bills. They've only got a few days left, and we can't change their mind, but we can make them decide it's not worth it to pursue this. A reminder that Tommy Tuberville does not live in Alabama, and the law is quite clear that you have to live in Alabama in order to run to be governor here, and you have to live here for the past 7 years, even though he votes in Florida and pays his taxes, not here. So, Florida doesn't have an income tax. So, you want me to believe that he's paying Alabama's income tax? No, I'll believe that when he produces his tax records. And other than that, happy birthday to the DSA, and rest well, Haymarket Martyrs, and we will talk to you next week. So as we say before we sign off, solidarity forever. We have a duty to fight for our, we have a duty to fight. We have a duty to win. And, oh, here comes Austin. I was just about to sign off.
Well, maybe that's for the best. Yeah. Clearly, I'm having some technical issues. If anybody would like to donate to maybe upgrade some of our technology situation here.
I've got some computers floating around that I can give you if you like.
Well, that might be that might be very beneficial over here.
I'll have to finish assembling them, but that won't be too hard.
But
I've got cards straight out everywhere. One of the many nice things about being a bachelor is that there's no one to fuss at me. Like, on the one hand, there's no one to fuss at me when there are computer parts thrown out everywhere in the living room. But the good news is there's no one to fuss at me when their computer parts thrown out all over the living room.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I did my best to talk through the protests. I read about at least two of the protests. There was one that was put on by leftists and one that was put on by the UA Democrats, which is a little bit better attended. Reminded people to contact their congressman. I talked about what was going on in Decatur a little bit. And well, people are starting to show out at the Decatur City Council meetings. There were 6 arrests at the last work session.
God, so, it was 6.
Yeah, 6 arrests for like trespassing, disorderly conduct. One got for loiter. They got one for loitering. Give me a break. But solidarity with those 6 comrades for sure. The Decatur City Council needs to know that it's not acceptable for the police to be killing people at the rate that they are.
Yeah. And civil disobedience is definitely a tactic. It's needed. But if you're going to engage in that, you need to plan well for it. Don't just start popping off. Like, that's poor discipline, and I do not suggest it at all. Because there was actually quite a few arrests this May Day, including some union presidents, and there was I think there's another set of like 70 protesters that blocked a street, and but it was all planned, all thought out. And so don't be a cowboy and try to do it all by yourself. Y'all know what I'm saying?
No, fair point. But it is also a time to get rowdy.
Mm-hmm. But, there were, over 1,000 protests, and we got to keep at it, attacking on all fronts, and start thinking about, I keep saying this, weekly economic blackouts like on Sunday, and planning to strike. If there's, because it's hard to convince sociopaths and psychopaths of anything when the only thing they understand is money. So yeah, there was that. I forgot about seeing that, but May Day was declared a national day of prayer by Governor Ivey. So
the National Day of Prayer is the first Thursday of every May. And it just so happens to have fallen on May Day this year. It normally doesn't.
Oh, so it's kind of like that Biden thing.
Yeah, with the Trans Day of Visibility. Or was it the Trans Day of Remembrance? That happened to fall on Easter one year when Biden was in power. And of course all the MAGA chudds lost their minds. They're like, how dare he do this on Easter? But no, it falls on the March 31st of every year. And that date just happened to be Easter that year, which Easter moves around. So like the dates did not coincide this year because Easter was in April. So yeah, it was a similar situation there. The National Day of Prayer is, I think, the first Thursday of May, and it just so happened to be May Day this year. It was a bad coincidence, but You know, they're not celebrating May Day. So the real true Labor Day.
Right. Let me see here. Nope, not that. Trying to, before we sign off, I wanted to maybe show a couple, yeah, a couple more memes, but at least show the other protests that happened in the state. If I can find them real quick. Yes. Think, hey, Brave browser, not too shabby. If you're not using Firefox, I suggest Brave.
Firefox like recently crapped out on me, and
Yeah.
it won't launch, and I had to switch browsers. So it's good to know
Well,
about Brave.
always got to have a backup. Let's see here. Is that it? No. Where is it? Okay. So 3 little things and then maybe some memes as I try to navigate, because I also have this plugin that strips API keys out of websites, and whenever I open up a website, like sometimes it's no API keys and sometimes it's like 15 API keys I have to go through. But we'll do this guy first real quick. Special election called for Coleman area House seat. The Corey Harbison, we talked about this last week. District 12 solidly Republican. However, James Field, a Democrat, ran against Harbison in 2022, where Harbison won 85% of the vote. The primary will be July 15th, with a runoff for the primary on August 12th, if needed. And the general election will be October 28th. The deadline for qualifying is May 13th, which is in a few days. I think the Democrats have a candidate. I'm not 100% sure on that. Haven't been able to read messages the last few days. And the deadline for all independents and minor parties is July 15th. So one of the reasons being for that is because I'm assuming you're going to have to get about 400 to 500 signatures in order to qualify. So it gives you another month. So yeah. So date set for House District 12. Hopefully we get some pushback on that. Another little thing, whoops, not that button, but that button. So at Auburn and Troy, some international students' visas have been reinstated. About a week after Auburn announced, I wonder if Tuberville, the former Auburn coach, had anything to do with this. I doubt it. Announced that 15 students and campus personnel had their visas revoked. Officials say the visas were reinstated. So they do a lot of research down there. I mean, there's research all over the country, right? And about 1,000 students at 160 campuses have been revoked. And goes on about Kilmore Garcia and the children that were U.S. citizens that had, including one with stage 4 cancer, that were wrongfully moved, detained, imprisoned. And then, yeah. Alireza Durodi, a doctoral student at the University of Alabama, was detained by ICE in March. He was denied bond in April, but the Department of Homeland Security has not named any charges. A message seeking comment was left with the University of Alabama Friday morning. Donald Trump spoke at the commencement we already talked about, praising his immigration policy, which is going down. People aren't liking it, you know. Day one of his inauguration, they liked it. Day 100 and whatever, not so much anymore. So even that policy has now flipped, and a majority of Americans hate it. So good for us. And the last little bit I wanted to show a collection of pictures of the protests. It took place in Tuscaloosa, scum and scumber. Yeah. We've got this here. Our civil rights end where fear begins. Protester educates others about the elements of this, including various police-related incidents throughout Alabama on May 1st. I was trying to see, but I'm pretty sure this is a collection of officers that have been arrested for brutality and people that have succumbed to that brutality as well. We had folks there supporting Ukraine, and this is at it said Bicentennial Square. I thought this was at the UA Dems one. Yeah. Saban. Yo, dog.
Yep.
Saban introduced Trump, but since he helped with the anti-union stuff at the Mercedes-Benz plant, I'm gonna have to throw my hands up, And what's funny is he's from West Virginia, where the coal miners, so much history of the workers' rights movement out of there and out of where he's from. Yet here we are. I guess money does go to your head. Got some more. And it looked like there was quite a bit more folks at the other protests, not the UA protests, but the 50-51 stuff. And I saw some video you can find on TikTok and where else. Yeah, puppy. It's cute. Dog. You got Nope with the red fucking tie and toupee. I'm a veteran, not a sucker or loser right there. I think that looks kind of like the Common Defense organization. Hands off my future. UA student set to graduate. Sporting cap and gown. Orange lives matter. Almost messed that up. Young protester. We've seen, I don't know if it's her I've seen, but we've definitely had our dystopian Handmaid's Tale cosplay show up in protests around here. And it's good to see them down there too. Hands off DEI, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, volunteer prepares wagon. Those wagons, y'all, those are crucial. they really help. I ain't gonna lie. Getting around with kids, that's where I discovered them. And this one, walking around with water, snacks, and first aid supplies. We've got our Handmaid's Tale with "This is how it starts," and she is right. This is how it starts. We've got one of the organizers here speaking and introduces the crowd to the event speakers. And Jesus didn't deport. A little looks like what something Jesus would be wearing. So yeah, we had quite Fire Elon, Save Elmo, Hands Off My PBS. That's another executive order that came through. So we had protests, y'all. We had folks out there all over the campus, and proud of them.
There's the Luigi sign.
Yes, that's what I wanted to get to. Yeah, free Luigi.
Free
folks.
Luigi.
And yeah, all that, they kind of look like Luigi with them eyebrows right there.
Maybe a little bit.
That's
PSL.
Yeah, from PSL. Yeah. You can see on their shirt. And yeah, there was many orgs represented. DSA, PSL, 5051, looked like a common defense sign, which is a veterans group, but you can join even if you're not a veteran. All kinds of folks showing up, standing in solidarity together on May 1st, International Workers' Day, even in low old Alabama. So yeah. So happy to see it, love to see it. We ain't stopping. We're only getting stronger. And yeah. And I think we'll end it on some memes. One little last set, because I can't get enough of memes. What can I say?
Everybody likes memes.
No. Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull this off. This is, technically not a meme, but we'll start with this one. Let's see here.
About how expensive eggs are, then you need to ask yourself.
Oh, not this again. Maybe I need to abandon the concept of sharing video.
If you're complaining about how expensive eggs are, then you need to ask yourself.
Oh. No good. No good.
Oh, well.
What did she say? Do you know?
She talked about how hens should not be.
Why am I afraid to pay a female chicken her worth?
Yeah. How the hens need to be paid their worth, and that they deserve more than $7 per dozen eggs, and that we should stand in solidarity with them and understand their fight and plight.
Okay, she's not going to be laying.
I will quit subjecting ourselves to that, though. So couple memes, and then we're gonna be out, folks. Don't replace the culture war with the class war, bro. Please don't worry about why you pay more in taxes than billionaires. Worry about the world Christmas and the trans agenda. Please, bro, stay distracted, bro. Yeah. And we got this. Oh my God. the date on this, y'all. This is crucial. April 12th, 2015. Internet politics and real world politics have gotten so separated, and pretty soon all this internet weirdness is going to come crashing into real life, and politicians are going to start throwing around the words like SJW and anime communist and dark enlightenment, and it's just going to be the most ridiculous fucking thing. Date of origin 13 April 2015. Happy 10-year anniversary. So yeah, some people are paying attention out there and have been for a long time.
Yeah, wow, very prescient.
Yes. Dune level prescience.
That's right, some Dune level prescience.
Another Dune level prescience. Political cartoon circa 1918.
1908, it says.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. I'm glad one of us can read. The Republican Party, the tariff revision, the consumer with the empty goblet, and the protected interests here, whose cup overflows. Our fight is a never-ending struggle. The revolution ebbs and flows, comes in stages and steps, and you got to stay gritty, folks. You got to stay gritty. We got two more. Love this from Very Fakery and Pro. First, they came for the LGBTQ plus community, and I said no. Then they came for people of different races, and again, I said no. And when they came for the poor, I proudly said no. Now they're here for the penguins, and I'm just fucking confused. So, yeah.
There you go. Oh, he's frozen again. Oh, what a travesty. Well, who knows what that last meme was going to be. It's after 9:30, so I think I'm probably going to go ahead and sign out. So yeah, remember, we have a duty to fight. We have a duty to win. Solidarity forever.
So we're going to end this stream. Clearly, I'm having difficulties, and Jason's already left. So with that, folks, as we like to say, all the power to all the people. We, the people, break our chains together. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for sticking with us. Much love, solidarity forever.